There are 503 people in my family tree right now, and 233 of them are missing a birth or death date. Like Terence, my second great-grand-uncle. No birth date, no death date. That's nearly half my tree. Do you have similar gaps? Where do you even start with that? It's overwhelming, but it's a lot less overwhelming when you get them all into a spreadsheet, organise the list, and start working through it. Even better, when you prioritise them based on which people you're most likely to find records for. That's what we'll do in this video. I'll be using free tools, a small bit of code, and a lot of spreadsheet formulas that you can copy and paste into your own spreadsheet tool. But first, let me show you what a full-blown date audit of your family tree could look like. Every person with missing dates pulled into a list and scored by how likely you are to find their records. 9 categories of date problems, not just missing dates, but implausible and impossible ones too. And this chart tracks your progress as you work through them. It's a great motivational tool. If you want the full date audit report done for you for the price of a cheap coffee, you can use our service, upload your family tree file, download the spreadsheet that you can import into Microsoft Excel, Google Sheets, or a spreadsheet application of your choice. If you prefer to do it yourself, follow along for a step-by-step walkthrough building a simpler but fully functional version. Before you start, you'll need your family tree as a spreadsheet, 1 row per person with their birth and death details, and it looks like this. You have several options to get this spreadsheet. I'll give you the links to 3. There's a step-by-step video on this channel that walks you through a free process that uses a bit of code that you copy from us. Or you can follow the same tutorial as a written article if you prefer that format. If you'd like to skip the step of doing this conversion yourself, I have a service where you upload your family tree and get this spreadsheet back for $1. That's a different service to the full date audit I showed you in the intro. That one does the full date audit check for you. Links for everything are in the description. Okay, so you've got your spreadsheet. Let's get on with the tutorial. So we start with a spreadsheet of all people in our tree. First, I'm going to copy the main worksheet, so if I make a mistake, and I can always get back to where I was. I'll right click, move or copy, move to end, check create a copy, and click OK. And now I'm going to rename that worksheet. Right click the tab name and choose rename, no birth or death date. This eventually will only have the people who are missing both their birth date and their death date. We often have one date but not the other, but without either date, it's very hard to do further research. Now let's put on a filter on the top row. Go to Home, Sort and Filter, and choose Filter. So now I'm going to apply a filter, but not in the way you might think. I'm going to filter on people who actually have a birth date, and then I'm going to delete those rows. And this deletion is why I'm working on a copy. I click on the birth date filter and see that every single entry is selected here because there is no filter. I'm going to scroll down right to the end and find this final entry that has blanks, and those are the missing birth dates. And I'm going to deselect or uncheck the blanks and click OK. And now I'm filtering to show only people who have a birth date. I now want to delete them all, so I will click into the second row. I could scroll down and find the final row, highlight that. The faster way is to hold down the Control, Alt and the page down key, and that jumps down to the very final row here for me. And having got all of these highlighted, I can right click and choose delete row here, and that's got rid of all those filtered rows. So now I'm not seeing anything. In order to see what's left, I will click on the birth date again. I'll hit select all, which chooses the blanks, and now I have all of these rows left. But notice that some of them have a death date, but I don't want ones with a death date, so I'm simply going to do the same thing with the filter trick. I'm going to apply the filter on blanks in the death date column. So take off the blanks to only show rows that have a death date, and with these, it's just all of the one page for me, so I'll just highlight these manually, right click and choose delete row, and then I will take off that filter or select all. And now, as I scroll down, you see I only have people who are missing a birth date and a death date. So here's the thing. Some of these entries will be much more difficult to research than others. Some will be nearly impossible. Take Mary here. I have no other details for her other than her first name. I don't even have a surname. So Mary has to be way down on my research list in terms of priority. Then take these people above her. In each case, I have a first name and a last name and the birthplace, but I don't have a death place. Without a death place, finding the death location is a little bit more difficult. But compare them to William Delaney. William, first name, last name, and I have both a birthplace and a death place. William is likely to be easier to research because I have more details, so I can prioritize William above the others for my time. We can broadly say that the more information we have about a person, the more likely we are to be successful in identifying their dates. So I want to give each person in this list a score based on how much information I have. I'll keep it simple. I'll give 1 point for every cell that is filled. I'm not showing every cell at the moment because I've got a narrow screen, so I'll scroll over to the right. Here I've got the parent names. For birthdays in particular, having the parent names is a big benefit to finding the correct records. I'm going to give myself an extra column to show the score for each row. So I'll just scroll over a little bit to the right here. If you've used our methods of creating this person list spreadsheet, you'll have these IDs at the end. We don't need them for this tutorial, so I'll add a few extra columns to give us space for what we're about to do. The score I'm going to assign is based on the number of fields or cells for a given person that has details in them. And the maximum score that anyone can get is from A to J, whether these cells are filled in. That's 8 columns, so the maximum is going to be 8. So I'll call column K score. Now I need a formula that adds up each cell that has some detail in it. Formula isn't obvious, but it works. Equals for formula, sum product. We're going to add up. Give myself 2 brackets, a length function, operate on trim. By using trim, I am not counting if there's only a space in the cell. I'm treating the cells within the range of A2 to J2. Close those brackets, where the length in each of those cells, in other words, the number of characters, is greater than 0. Give myself a close bracket there, and then I want to multiply that by 1, close the total bracket. Hit enter, I get a score of 7. Is that correct? We've got, for that particular row, 1, 2, 3, 4. No death place. Death date is always empty, but the birthplace is given. That's 5. No birth date, of course, but we've got 6 and 7. So that is correct. Scroll back over. Now I want to copy this score down. So I will double click on that little box there in the bottom right of the cell. And we can see now that some of these rows have a smaller score. Here I'm missing parent details. There's a very low score of 1. If I scroll what is filled in there, just the first name, and so on and so forth. So now I've got the score, which means that the higher the score is, the more likely it is I'll be successful in my research. I'm going to order my people by that score, but not just by the score. I'll give myself a custom sort. So I'll highlight columns K to A, expand the Home tab, go to Sort and Filter, and choose Custom Sort. I want to sort by the score, and I want to change the order from largest to smallest. And then within each score, I would like to group on the names. By grouping on the last name, I can get families together. So I'll add a level, last name, yes, A to Z, and then for good measure, I'll also sort then on the first name. So I'll hit OK, and we can see the top score I've got is 8. For these, I have all the parent details and death place and the birthplace. Dropping down, those first 3 got the highest score. The moment we drop down, we're missing 1 element. And in my tree, and this is probably likely for most people, is the death place can be quite difficult to identify. Given that this naturally pushes up to the top of my priority list, the people with the most amount of filled in parent details, that really works very well for identifying the birth date. Not as relevant for the death date and death place, but it's still useful. I will notice as I scroll down that some rows here where I've got these underscores for the mother last name. So really, I don't want those making the score misleading. And this is why I took a copy of the worksheet so as I could edit it as I go, but not change the original worksheet. I'll just update those fields. So if I go and highlight mother last name there, I'll do a replace. Number of underscores, I want to replace it with nothing. I'll do replace all. And if you noticed over at the right there, that score has now shifted down by 1. Now I want to resort this, so I'll just highlight that again. Custom sort, not changing my sort details. I'm just clicking OK to get it to resort, and those people have now been pushed down to this section. So I'll just scroll down to the lower scores and see what's going on. The moment I start hitting the 3s, this is looking very sparse. When I scroll down to the 1s, I have one detail, and it's either the last name or it's the first name, and I don't have anything else. Those are going to be nigh on impossible to research. So you can see now where the usefulness of this comes in. In this section of the tutorial, I'm going to increase the sophistication of the score to make it even more useful when prioritizing my research. Take another look at the 7s, and I want to highlight these rows. Paul and Therese both be the children of a Patrick Doyle. So I have the father first name and last name, but I only have the mother's first name. I don't have her maiden name. And then below them, just in alphabetical order, but still on the score of 7, we have these Drews, where I have the full first and last name of both father and mother. We get the same score because whereas I'm missing here the mother's maiden name, I have a death place. It's going to be harder to research, certainly the birth dates, without the mother's maiden name. So I don't think they should have the same score. And if I scroll down a little bit, when I reach the 6s, I see people with missing mother details getting the same score as people with them. So I'd like to be a bit more sophisticated here in the scoring. I'd like to allocate an extra weighting to the mother's maiden name. And to do that, I'm going to extend my score formula. I put my cursor into K2 to see the score formula. I'm going to add an extra point for the presence of the mother's last name. She's already been counted with a point in this range. I'm going to give her double weight. Extend this with a plus, and the next part of the formula is going to look very similar to this piece here, the len trim. Open a bracket, len trim, open a bracket. I want to work on J2, mother last name, close my brackets, and I am multiplying that by 1. Hit enter, and notice that what was an 8 has immediately gone up to a 9. I'll double click the little square there. Yep, all of those changed. We need to reshuffle this order. So once again, I'll just highlight from K to A, home, sort, put up my custom sort. I simply want to reapply it, and now even this first page, I'm not seeing any blanks here in the mother last name column. I scroll down. 9 now is my top score. Scrolling down past the 8s into the 7s, and now we see the first occurrence of entries without a maiden name, and then we come down into the 6s and they are more prevalent. So I'm going to stop there with the sophistication of the score, but I want to show you what more is possible. Here's the full date audit spreadsheet from our online service. I'll jump to the missing birth and death dates worksheet, and the format will look very familiar to you, but maybe this doesn't look good. How come the top of my priority are these two rows where I don't have either birthplace or a death place? Let's scroll over to the right, where I'm now seeing the score, but I'm seeing a lot more details too. Apart from having parent names for both of them, I also have birth dates in the family tree for the parents. For some people in my tree, the reason I don't have birth dates is that they were born before the civil registration of births in that country. For example, Ireland in the 17th century. If the parents have birth dates in that country, we can logically assume that the birth records for the children should at least exist. So it's worth looking for them. Go one to the right, I've got the count of the number of siblings in my family tree for whom I have birth dates. In the case of my top person, I've got 8 siblings in the tree where I've identified the birth dates. It's quite possible that I've just skipped over this particular person and I need to circle back. Now, what's with this birthplace parts and death place parts? Where, for example, I have a 4 and a 2 here. Let me scroll over to the left and just look at the place details. Notice that in this death place, I actually have 4 parts in the address. I'm down to state, county, and a town. Then in this first place, I have two parts, and sometimes I only have one part, which is here USA. The more detailed the address, the easier it is to research. So I'm giving extra weight to how many parts are in the address. And then right over to the right here, I've got a name penalty here. What does that mean? Well, let me scroll down. It's 0 most of the way down, and then I'm seeing a negative here where I'm actually taking away from the score. So that score here would have been 6, but I'm actually taking away 4 from the score. Why is that? If I scroll over to the left, I'm missing a first name. By giving a negative penalty, it pushes them way down my priority list. Now, it is possible to use spreadsheet formulas for these factors, but it's much more difficult. Our online service uses Python code to calculate these factors and give the overall score. If you're a spreadsheet expert, though, you could give it a go. Alternatively, upload your JetCom to our service and download the full date audit spreadsheet where you get this tab and much more. Hope that helps. Best of luck with your family research.